What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today, day one is over. We're looking towards a day two, so we have a 2 rounds, technically 3, but first round's already gone. We're doing rounds 2 and 3 today in a mock draft. So if you guys are new to the series, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the community. They're making content like this all the damn time, including for 2023. We're gonna have a lot of people on here that are gonna give recaps of what happened in the draft, people from their own teams. So love that. Let's kick off the draft. Let's go off with number 33 overall. We are going to be looking at my board here to see who I still have ranked highly at this point. And at pick 33, I would heavily be considering Malik Willis here, but you don't trade back to 33 to take a quarterback. That would really not make much sense. At that point, you'd probably want to trade up one spot to 32 to get that 5th-year contract. So I do think it's going to be Travis Jones here. Again, that interior defensive line spot still could be filled. I think Travis Jones is an absolutely amazing talent. I love him to death. Guy should definitely be a first-round pick, but you know what? He's pretty damn close. 1 pick away. So, yeah, he's just a very unique talent. Putting him next to Vita Vea, he played 3-tech actually quite a bit there at UConn. So him, Vita Vea, that would be arguably one of the best interiors, if not the best interior in football. That'd be insane. Number 34, we have the Washington. Wow. Okay. Hello. We have the Minnesota Vikings. It's in the middle of final season, everybody. This, I think, could be a QB, but they would have taken a quarterback right there at 32 if they wanted to. So I'm going to avoid that. Now, guys I can see going here, Nakobe Dean. Obviously, you don't have Anthony Barr anymore. He's a really electric pass rusher as well as a really good cover linebacker. You got Jordan Hicks there, but again, don't really think that's a long-term option. Another position you could look at still is corner. I think Andrew Booth could be on the board. You know, again, Pat Pete's back for a year, but who else, right? So you got Lewis Seen, but you could try to continue revamping that secondary. I'm trying to think like where else they would go. It would just be Malik Willis, man. So I am going to do the right thing for this team and go Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson. Doesn't exactly fit the scheme, but I know that the NFL is a little bit worried about his injury history. I think this is a good spot for him to go, though. His talent is certainly really damn good. I had him probably going around this range anyways. I like Andrew Booth, and his value is incredible, so definitely worth it to me. Number 35, we have the Titans on the board. This is going to be a quarterback. This is going to be Malik Willis. It's obvious they're deconstructing their team to play for the long run because apparently they just don't want to pay the players that make them good. So you know what? We're going to do the best thing for them. We're going to give them Malik Willis and then say, you know what? You can pick up the pieces here. The Giants keep winning. They do. Nakobe Dean's on the board. I don't even care who else is. You're going to take him. Obviously, he's somebody that could be falling a bit more, but I'm hoping that he gets picked up. Again, if Quay Walker's worth number 22, I'm not saying he is, but in the NFL he was, then Nakobe Dean is going to be worth probably a top 40 pick. So I love Nakobe. He was definitely the best linebacker on that team, but could definitely see him going right there. Number 37 for the for the Texans. I think this could be a linebacker. I do. And I think Leo Chenal would be a pretty good option. Edge rusher as well. Arnold Ebiketie deserves to be in this consideration. I just don't know. You're looking at the guys they drafted, both super young as well. Pretty sure Kenyon Green's a true junior. So you got 2 true juniors right here with Derek Stingley as well as Kenyon Green. I don't think you go for the older route personally. Leo Chenal's super young, redshirt sophomore, and he's just an absolute freak. I think that that's going to be something you do pride. You know, definitely somebody who is a unique talent, deserves to be at this pick. He does. Really talented linebacker. NFL might be a little bit lower on him, but I'm not holding out. So I love Leo Chenal. That's where he's going to go. Number 38. So we saw basically all of these players have super high floors. So I highly doubt that they're going to take a random swing for the fences. And I think you finally address the offensive tackle position. Bernhard Ryman was in consideration for round 1. I do know that for a fact. And that means that, well, he's definitely in consideration for early round 2. Bernhard Ryman, again, Joe Judge. Now he's been kicking the ass of this draft. PFF wise, he's been kicking ass. But I think Bernhard Ryman's definitely worth that value there. I don't think many other tackles are worth it. And, you know, he's definitely a really good insurance policy at left tackle. And then at right tackle, obviously Fant's there for a year. is a way to get Joe Judge his tackle at the same time being able to have gotten max value at other positions as well. Number 39, the Chicago Bears. So I'm pretty sure there's nothing really great here. I don't project Sean Ryan being a second round pick. I could definitely see George Pickens being this pick, though. You are looking still for a true wide receiver one, and George Pickens certainly feels like a guy that would be going in this range. I mean, hell, you could see him go as high as even the Titans pick. I wouldn't rule it out. Number 40, I don't think we have any trades up just yet, but I do think I know you guys don't like it, but I do think they're going to be going after a quarterback. They're building for the long run right now, getting Charles Cross. I believe he was a redshirt sophomore as well. And I think they're going to go Sam Howell here. It's a good way to reserve your spot for a quarterback of the future. I really hope that they don't, but at the same time, you have 2 picks next year as well. And this is the second round. You can take a shot on a high ceiling quarterback. I like Sam Howell quite a bit. The next pick, though, this would have been Leo Chenal. Honestly, if he were here, I would go Leo Chenal in a heartbeat, but he's not. I'm trying to think of who I would consider here. Edge rusher, certainly. I know that they're looking at D tackles as well. If you see Travis Jones here, I would not be surprised if they take him. But I think Boya Mafi could be a weird one. David Ojabo as well as a guy who I would really like on this team. But I don't know if they go that way, guys. I don't know. And defensive back is still a position to target here. I think Kyler Gordon, he is, he's not, I thought he was actually a redshirt sophomore, but he's definitely built to be a good enough corner in this scheme. And it is kind of a big need. Again, you don't even have a Akella Witherspoon anymore. So it's something that I'm heavily considering at this point. And I think it's going to happen. I do. You've been watching, again, there's these teams that have been seeing these players come around their, right around their facilities all the time. The Cowboys with Tyler Smith. Makes sense. He plays at SMU. He plays against SMU all the time. That's what Tulsa does. They're in the AAC. They go to Houston. It's just what happens. Obviously, there's no reason to not connect Washington to a team in Washington. I do think that's going to be their grab right there. Another guy I could see at that point is going to be Troy Anderson. I do really like him. His physical comp is to Ryan Shazier. So I definitely like that. This pick, though, I'm going to go Skyy Moore. I do think that the hate for in the NFL is enough to push him down this far, but I don't think it's enough to totally push him out of the second round. And there's not many guys who are going to be much better than Skyy Moore. We don't even know if we're going to see T.Y. Hilton ever again. Skyy Moore is going to be a great replacement for that. And he'd still be really good, even if you didn't want to, even if you brought back T.Y. Hilton. I think it'd be an amazing addition. Number 43 for the Falcons. I do think quarterback is on their mind right now. You have both of these guys who are phenomenal targets for you. And I think Matt Corral would be the guy who, I've been hearing, I think Dane Brugler put this in as well. As much as I want to go edge rusher for you guys, honestly, right now, I honestly might pull the trigger on David Ojabo. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I'm looking at teams that might want to go quarterback. The Lions, I mean, again, they're actually making it ready for a different quarterback. I feel like they're not trying to have a developmental quarterback this year, but the Saints could be in it. I mean, not really anybody else. Worst case scenario, we can trade up with the Falcons as well. This is going to be David Ojabo out of Michigan. You look at how they're drafting right now. David, I don't know why I said David London. David Ojabo fits it. You're building for the future. You know that you're building for Bryce Young. Again, I think this team's going to have the number 1 pick. So why not continue to give him a bunch of 5-star dudes? David Ojabo certainly could be in that mix. Number 44, I've actually been sticking to this for a while. Arnold Ebiketie. Because, I mean, again, that edge 2 position is pretty vacant. Wide receiver is a weird target that you could address here. But, when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, fill the need with somebody who can play right now. And Arnold Ebiketie is just an absolute stud. Love him to death. Number 45, wide receiver is gone. Unfortunately, Hollywood Brown, adios. You guys still stole the trade right there. You did a great job. I don't think a wide receiver is good enough right now. Christian Watson, the only guy who'd be in contention, but it would make sense. You got rid of Hollywood Brown and Miles Boykin. It makes sense, but dude, how much longer can you push off an edge rusher? That's my question. I think they are hoping for David Ojabo to be here, and that just didn't happen. So oof. But I think this could be a wide receiver. I think it could be. And I think Christian Watson is that guy that the Ravens are going to target. So, yeah, again, you lost Miles Boykin. It makes sense to go after someone like Christian Watson and be able to give another nice deep threat to Lamar, continue stretching the field so they can't load the box. Number 46, let's see who's still on the board. You still got great players like Jalen Pitre, Matt Corral on the board, like some really good prospects here, guys, really good ones. And I think that linebacker is a position they could go with, but this draft is so deep. It's why we didn't see many linebackers go in the first. So for me, if I'm sitting here, you could go QB again. I just don't think they look like they're building for something better than Matt Corral. And no disrespect, again, my high school quarterback right there, but I just don't think, like I was saying this a while ago, I don't think the NFL is that high in this class, and we've seen it. So it's okay to say that they're not good enough. But I do think that strong safety spot could definitely be filled by Jaquan Brisker. I think that'd be a bright move for the team, which kind of sucks because I would have loved him here, right here to Washington. But I think they would love Jalen Pitre. I do. You look at it, they got Jahan Dotson. They're looking at dudes who can make an instant impact. Jalen Pitre is definitely a dude who can do that. I know he's a slot, but I do think that you can, I mean, one, you can probably move Cam Curl up to like, you can move him up to a single high if you want to. Cam Curl's great. Jalen Pitre is just BPA, man. You can't let him fall anymore. I love him to death. Definitely worth that pick for the Bears. So I have a weird feeling this is going to be Drake Jackson. I do. It's just a weird feeling. Again, super high ceiling dude, and you're trying to replace what you just lost with Khalil Mack. So definitely a good guy to be able to replenish that with. Number 49, you have the Saints on the board. Definitely think they can go a quarterback, and they're going to go actually Desmond Ridder. I think that would be a solid move. Again, it is more predictive than anything. I'm not a huge fan of Desmond Ridder myself, but in the second round, again, you're taking a shot on a dude who could lead your franchise. It's worth the investment, even if it fails. Number 50, you got the Chiefs on the board. Yeah, I think wide receiver still is on the table, but so is running back. And it's a weird feeling, man. I think that I might want to go with the Breece Hall move. I think I'm going to. So Breece Hall out of Iowa State is going to be the pick. They got two defensive stars. They're going offense this time, and the wide receivers are just not good enough. Eagles on the board. I mean, I kind of screwed them over royally in terms of being able to get a nice cornerback here. I recorded this earlier and didn't have my audio on apparently, so screw Zoom. But I mean, I got them. What's his name? I'm bugging. Kyler Gordon. So definitely could see that happening. Linebacker is in the equation here, though. But this could be a great trade back spot since they've traded a lot of picks away. And that team trading up is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. So, yeah, Matt Corral's on the board. I know they like him as well. They stayed in place. They're building for the future. I feel like they can't trade up for Matt Corral. They can't. But I'm predicting it. This is the toughest thing. I'm predicting it. But at the same time, like, there's a part of me that just says don't. And that's what kind of feels weird. The Vikings could be looking at a QB. Man, like it feels weird, guys. It feels really weird. But for the Eagles here, I mean, they could definitely try to go after a developmental edge rusher like Nick Bonito. I could see that happening. And it wouldn't be a bad choice at all. I think that would be a really fun one to have him grow under Hassan Reddick. I just don't think they're going to do it. But Roger McCreary, they didn't bring him in for a top. So they didn't bring in many of these dudes for top 30 visits. So this is like a really weird spot for me because I don't really see many dudes. They have Christian Harris that they brought in and Brandon Smith. I think Christian Harris is going to be the pick. I do. Tested like a freak, did really well in his final game there at Alabama. They brought him in for a top 30 visit. The Eagles still need a linebacker, and he's a developmental dude. So definitely something that it fits what the Eagles are looking for. Number 52 with the Steelers. God help us. I think Nick Cross is going to be this pick. Just going to be honest with you guys. If you're looking at it, I don't really see much else that can be beneficial in the meantime. Going Matt Corral might be the best thing we could do. But like all seriousness, I think Nick Cross is going to be the guy the Steelers invest in. $2.5 million to Terrell Edmunds is not the long-term answer, obviously. And it just probably patches it in case Nick Cross is not there. Number 53, the Packers are on the board. And you know what? I'll forgive them if they end up with Alec Pierce here at 53. I love Alec Pierce. I think that he's definitely going to be a target for them because, again, somehow they're allergic to wide receivers in round 1. It is the way it is, but Alec Pierce certainly worth it. And Bill Belichick's going to Bill Belichick, going after another small school guy, man-to-man corner, Tariq Woolen out of UTSA, 6'4", 4.26 speed. Love it. The Cardinals here, I think they could definitely, like, they've appeased their crybaby. I think this is a good spot to go after an edge rusher. Boye Mafe still on the board, but I mean, Nick Bonito is going to get some hype. He is scheme specific, but I could definitely see him being the guy to target there. The Cowboys are on the board, and they just got a lot younger. So they definitely are playing for the long ball here, which is very entertaining, but I don't really know what to go with them here. And this might be a good spot to trade back, but the Cowboys, I don't believe, would be a trade back candidate. It just doesn't seem like a Cowboys thing to do. So, like, could they go after another? I don't think Calvin Austin is going to be a first rounder or in the second rounder. As much as I want him to be, I don't think he's going to. But Sam Williams out of Ole Miss definitely feels like someone who could be in this realm. They definitely like guys that they see a lot more often. So Myjai Sanders could be a sneaky option in round 3 for them, which hurts me inside because now I have no idea where I'm going. That's just the way of the draft. But honestly, they brought back their linebacker on a 1-year deal. They could try to go after Brandon Smith here. I think I'm going to call this one. We're going to go Brandon Smith. Again, they're pairing up the linebacker duo from Penn State now. Obviously, you got Micah Parsons there. They're going to go back to the well with Brandon Smith and have him sit for a year under Leighton Vander Esch, continuing to develop. He can also play a safety role. Really versatile dude at 250 pounds. Kind of seems to be the Cowboys thing recently. It's a weird one. Not exactly a fan of it, but it kind of is fun to play with the idea. Number 57, the Bills are on the board. And honestly, when looking at it, I think they could be going after a wide receiver here. But I think Kenneth Walker, I think there is just a top 2 running back in this class, like top 2 of dudes. And that's the way you do it. Number 58, still building for the future. I mean, you could just go after someone like Channing Tindall here. I think he's going to make it into round 2, guys. I really do. Matt Corral's still here, though. I hear that there's a lot of liking towards him. They're going to do it. I don't like it, but they're going to do it. You know, I still like it, actually, because, again, you're taking a shot on a potential franchise guy in round 2. Might not even play this year, though. Number 59 with the Green Bay Packers. I think that this could be a good spot for someone who's very raw in Boye Mafe. The problem is, guys, why he hasn't been drafted yet is because he's raw, but also older. It's not like he's Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, who's just a true junior who's coming out and is like, well, I'm like 21 years old and I'm still figuring it out. This guy, if I'm not mistaken, is 24 and still figuring it out. That being said, still could be a huge get for this team who loves athletic dudes. Number 60, you got the Buccaneers back on the board. I think offensive line should definitely be in the consideration here. Dylan Parham is going to make his appearance. So, sorry, Niners fans. That kind of hurts, but I think Dylan Parham's going to be playing guard for them, and that's just the way. That's the way cookie crumbles, man. Number 61, the Niners. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Zach Tom here out of Wake Forest. Tested out like a freak. Left tackle, but he played center. So I think that's going to be the key. He can also learn how to play tackle from Trent Williams, but Alex Mack not going to be there. If I'm not mistaken, you guys can, of course, correct me because I want to be right about these things. Center spot is a legit need. So that's why you guys like Dylan Parham here. Guard spot could be as well. Aaron Banks, we don't know the future of, but Zach Tom would be a great offensive lineman to add into the mix. Number 62, we got the Chiefs on the board, and I think this could be a wideout. Again, this is a weird spot for them because now I don't even think there's quarterbacks worth the pick. So, I mean, you could go another corner at this point. It's a weird spot. But you know what? We're actually, oh man. So sorry, Packers fans. You probably wanted an offensive lineman, but I think in reality, honestly, if I could take it back, I would probably put Abe Lucas there. I would. But given that the board fell this way, the Chiefs are going to continue rising high, and then they're going to go against Lucas Niang and get Abe Lucas in there. Worst case scenario, it's a really high quality swing tackle. We see every year offensive linemen get hurt at the highest rate, and that's kind of perfect to continue developing that. We obviously saw in the Super Bowl what happens to Patrick Mahomes when, you don't have an offensive line. Poor guy's running around like his head got cut off. So number 63, last, well, actually, no, just kidding. We have a whole nother round. Wow. Usually I end off at this point, but I really do think, so I've heard that Bengals might be looking at Jelani Woods in the next round, but something in my gut says Trey McBride might be their option here. They brought in Hayden Hurst though. Corner is still a position of need for them. And I'm trying to see a guy who would be realistically at this point. I don't think it's Martin Emerson. I'm going to go Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska. I do think they'll like him. I do. Number 64, I really have been set on this being Chad Muma. But again, you're trying to win right now. I'm going to get a polished prospect in Troy Anderson out of Montana State. I love him so much. Great selection right there. Number 65, you got the Jaguars finally back on the board. I think offensive line still is in that equation. I really do. The question is, who the hell would be worth it? And center is still an issue, man. I do think Cam Jurgens is going to make his head appear sometime, some way. And he's one of the most athletic centers that you'll find. I think he might have been the fastest 40 time of all linemen at the combine. But Cam Jurgens is a freak. He is a freak. He's a really good blocker as well. And I think he'd work really well with the Doug Peterson scheme. You obviously, I would like him to be a little bit meaner, but at the same time, Jason Kelce, obviously the comp for Tyler Linderbaum with Jason Kelce, Tyler Linderbaum a bit lighter, a lot better on the move. This is your on sale version of Tyler Linderbaum. And that's kind of a dream pick for you. So Cam Jurgens I'm actually becoming a huge fan of the man who owns his own jerky company. So big plus to that. Vikings are back on the board. And I really do think going after someone like Perrion Winfrey would be a very good idea at this point. So we are going to be going Perrion Winfrey, adding some extra pass rush from the interior. Obviously, we saw what happened with Aaron Donald because obviously the coach came from the Rams. So having that pass rush from the inside with maybe a lighter interior defensive lineman, not a bad thing. Perrion Winfrey has some very special reps on tape. Number 67, the Giants are on the board. I do think this is going to be Trey McBride. I don't know if we hear his name in the second round, but if he slips here, that's the way it's going to roll. 68 with the Texans. I think that this could be we've already addressed offensive line, so we could be trying to look elsewhere for this. We haven't addressed edge yet, and there's some really good ones on the board. I don't want to sell these guys short. I know a lot of people like Josh Pascal, and I'm trying to think it's a Lovie Smith cover 2 scheme. So I don't know if this is exactly the best fit for him, but at the same time, we're trying to predict what's going to happen in the draft. So might be what I want to do because I do love Josh Pascal. I have a second round grade on him. Actually, as not a 3 tech. I think it's a 4 tech, maybe a 5 tech. I don't even know at the moment. But regardless, I think that going edge rusher would probably be the best thing for them. And Myjai Sanders, definitely another dude. But Logan Hall, again, they've been watching this guy for a long time. He's a good tweener. You can use him on the outside, and then you can use him on pass downs on the inside as well. I think that's going to be a very good addition. Again, connecting Houston to Houston, they've been able to watch him in depth. The NFL must really like him. So I definitely think that'd be a good move. Titans, God only knows how to help you guys. It is the way it is. I pray for you. I do. But it's not a good time. It's not a good time for you guys. So I do think a tight end could be on the market. I know you brought in Austin Hooper. Definitely doesn't answer the question. Channing Tindall is another guy I think would be an amazing addition to this team. Putting him back with Monty Rice would be honestly a really fun addition as well. Round 3 is perfect for you guys to address linebacker. So Channing Tindall out of Georgia certainly should be the choice there. Jaguars are back on the board. I think this could be a tight end. I think Greg Dulcich is still going to get a lot of love. You obviously saw how Doug Peterson deployed tight ends there over in Philadelphia. Greg Dulcich kind of reminds me a little bit of Dallas Goedert. So I like him a lot. Obviously, the rank, it's just because tight ends aren't that valuable to me. At the same time, I thought the class is actually pretty good in terms of depth. But regardless, we are going back to the Chicago Bears. I really do think Sean Rhyan is going to be their type. It's these tackles that I think will transition to guard, like Tevin Jenkins, that seem to be their thing. And we have Tevin Jenkins out right tackle, Larry Borom at left tackle. Sean Rhyan could fill into that gap. I do think he's going to get more hype than what people are talking about. So the UCLA boys go back to back. Number 72 with the Seahawks. I think an edge rusher is on the horizon for them. And I could really see Myjai or Sam Williams here. I could. Josh Pascal could be a really interesting one. And given Shelby Harris being on the team, that's where I'm going. I know a lot of teams like Josh Pascal. So that's why I'm like kind of favoring that route. Also, there's the weight concerns and just the overall performance of Myjai Sanders. And then Sam Williams. People say this tape is shit. I don't. But, you know, he had some off the field potential issues, and that might be pushing him down the board. The Colts, I think tight end definitely could be in this realm, but I also think going after a corner like Roger McCreary would not be a bad idea. You can play him in the slot. You can play him on the boundary. I do think that right now it's BPA. So we're going to go Roger McCreary here to the Colts. Number 74. I think this would be a great spot for someone like Brian Asamoah, but I think Chad Muma would be an excellent option for this team. Not the youngest guy in the world, but hey, he's a really talented guy, and you're really banking on him just being able to succeed in year 2. So again, you got Matt Corral, but that doesn't mean anything. It's a spare second round pick that you got for Julio, who's not even on the team that sent that second round pick for him, right? So Chad Muma, definitely going to be a good addition. You are missing Foye Oluokun. Bringing Chad Muma would be a nice addition to there. Number 75, we're back with the Broncos, and this is another one of my weird screw it picks. I think Zion McCollum is going to be a pick around this range. I do. And I think that at 6 foot, over 6'2", I think over 200 pounds, it says 6'4" in here. Like, he's not 6'4". He's about 200 pounds at 6'2.5". The guy tested out as the most athletic corner of all time. I'm a big fan of him. Mel Kiper's a big fan of him. Can definitely see him going even in round 2 to the Patriots. So if Tariq Woolen were not there, I would definitely be pulling the trigger on Zion McCollum. But of course, the freaking Ravens sit, they wait, and then they snatch some amazing talent here. And I think Sam Williams he's a violent pass rusher, man. He had 4 pressures and a sack against Evan Neal. I don't know why he's not getting the hype the way he should. Number 77, we got the Vikings back on the board. This is where I could see a linebacker going like Brian Asamoah. Again, pretty solid in coverage. Maybe not the best zone coverage corner or zone coverage linebacker, but you have some really good zone coverage linebackers there anyways. I really do like him, and I think that they will be addressing that linebacker position. At this point, I want to see who's still on the board because some guys got to go. Jalen Tolbert deserves to be going, and this actually might be the team that takes him. But I mean, to be honest, I don't think there's a better spot for him to go. Then the Browns continuing to add some very high-end receiver talent. Small school, older prospect, not exactly super dominant. So definitely somebody who will probably fall, but definitely worth the pick. Chargers here, I could definitely see them going after someone like Marcus Jones, but I think an edge rusher could be another guy to add into the mix. Again, Kingsley is a dude who definitely needs to learn, but linebacker, oh man, they actually came off the board really fast. I think this would be a good spot to trade out. I do. I think it would be a good spot to trade out. DeMarvin Leal could be interesting, but I think they might have PTSD of what happened, obviously, with their former first-round pick, Jerry Tillery. So I think a team that might want a gadget weapon like Calvin Austin might be wanting to move up here as well. I would have said the Cardinals, but they kind of already got their gadget player. Cowboys certainly should be in the mix for Calvin Austin. Obviously, Tony Pollard from Memphis as well. They might be going that AAC route, but Calvin Austin also a little bit older. I might be trying to avoid that personally, but I think the Giants might make a small move up here because I do think the Texans would also be intrigued. So we're going to be doing that for them. We're going to go Giants trading up with the Chargers. Again, they don't have many picks, but it doesn't really require much to move up. So we'll send a next year pick. How about that? We'll send a next year 5th. Yay. Might even have to get a 7th in return, but that's okay. I think that given the Kadarius Toney problems, Calvin Austin would be a pretty nice way to just kind of sit back, relax, and be like, you know what? We don't have to face him if he goes to Dallas either. And I love Calvin Austin. Really good player. Number 80, we got the Texans back on the board. And I think Kirby Joseph would be an amazing addition to this team. Safety continuing to develop would be just A+. But again, I want to look at some more guys here. Wan'Dale Robinson, they actually had the worst run attack in the league last year. Obviously, doesn't exactly mean that you have to go running back here. Kind of already tried to address that with Kenyon Green, but definitely feels like it's a little bit forced. And I think someone like Pierre Strong Jr. could be getting a lot of hype with a team like Houston. It's a weird feeling that I have. It is. I have a weird feeling he's going to be around 3 lock. I really do. And I really want to go Kirby Joseph because there's a lot of really good running backs here. I think I'm going to. Again, the safety class is just crap after Kirby Joseph, so I'm definitely going to be rocking that. But that's just me. Number 81, we got the Chargers back on the board. Let's see who the heck is best for them. Obviously, we can go to the predictive board, see who's still here. They might. Isaiah Spiller's not going to be going that high. Same thing with David Bell. I don't know what this BS is. A wide receiver could be in that realm though. And again, you could get a really nice gadget weapon with Wan'Dale Robinson. I think that would be a very smart move for them. Khalil Shakir definitely on the table as well. So I definitely think that, oh man, this pick's going to be fun because I have absolutely no clue where I'm going with it. Like, I'm trying to play for the long game here. It definitely looks like they're trying to continue to build. Offensive line might be the best case scenario, but with DeMarvin Leal on the board, I've also heard some rumors that you could be trading out or trading Grady Jarrett out. So DeMarvin Leal would be a very intriguing prospect to just say, hey, we're taking another shot on a player. All these picks might bust out, but there's actually a good chance that a lot of these picks work out. And the fact is, there's no pressure on DeMarvin Leal. I definitely like what he could bring to the table. Number 83 with the Eagles, we have a dress linebacker, dress interior defensive line. I'm going back to the corner realm, and I do think someone like Martin Emerson would be a really good pairing with Darius Slay. Just you have to. At this point, you have to start looking at corners, and Martin Emerson would be a great number 2 corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 84, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the board. They were looking at interior defensive linemen, so I think Fadarian Mathis is a legit option. But they brought in John Mechie, and I do think that if he is here, that is going to be their option, getting another weapon. Again, you lost Juju Smith-Schuster, big asset in the slot there. And I love John Mechie. I think there is a gap from him to the next wide receivers on the board. Also playing defense against the Patriots, being able to snag them. Patriots now on the board. I think the linebacker still is in the equation. Darian Beavers would be a fun one for them. Could see them going after something like Jesse Luketa later on, though. Edge rusher, you traded away your edge rusher and Chase Winovich. So now it'd be a pretty good time to try to address it with some of these top-end edge rushers. It's Kingsley, Majai, and Cam Thomas. I don't exactly see Cam Thomas as a guy that they would be really into. And Kingsley didn't run fast enough. So they're going to take a shot on Majai Sanders here. After going 2 small school dudes, they're actually continuing to technically stay in the Power 5. Are they even Power 5? I don't even know if they're in the Power 5. They might be in the Group 5. I think the AAC is in the Group 5. They're staying out of the Power 5. Getting Majai Sanders, who was a very good edge rusher. He graded out as a first-round pick to me, and people have just been hating on him. He was really sick, tested poorly at the combine. Don't know why he didn't retest when he got the weight back on, but I can understand. Sometimes you're just not back to full health, and it just might be more of a detriment than anything if you do rerun. Still was in the 4.6s. Not like he was slow, so definitely think that that's perfectly fine for him. Looking at the rest of the big board, I think there will be probably some more trades in here. You have some really good edge rushers on the board. I'm trying to see if any team really needs one. The Niners are a team that needs one. They used to be across the bay from each other, so I'm sure that they stay in somewhat strong communication. I think that would be a good move for them because I know the Cowboys are going to have their selection, and I think the Niners could be trying to make a solid enough move to remain relevant, so to speak, in their division, because I think they can have a chance to beat LA. I do think they can. And I'm not looking at the pick chart right now because it's not really affecting the draft that we're doing, but that could be the approximate value. And we've already ended up getting them a center. This is a good spot to go after an edge rusher. And I think Kingsley fits exactly what they're looking for. The Cardinals are on the board. I think going corner might be another great move for them. The problem is I don't really see many corners going in this round. I think Jalen, Armour-Davis, Alontae Taylor, maybe. But I honestly think that they would then go back to catering their child in Kyler Murray. And the best thing you could probably do is get someone who's versatile like Jamari Sawyer, who can play everywhere. So I think Jamari is going to be making an appearance right there. Cowboys are going to be going with the best edge available, and that's Cam Thomas. And he's developmental. He has flashes of first-round talent to me. Again, now the Cowboys are like, okay, well, we don't have our choice, but we're still getting a damn good player. Number 89 with the Bills. I think they want to continue bolstering that offensive line. Ed Ingram would be a great developmental guard. I do think he goes around here. He's a mean, nasty blocker as well. I think that would be a really nice addition to the team. The Tennessee Titans. So I still think tight end with Jelani Woods is on the table. I do. I might pull the trigger on that. But we still need to go offensive line for this team. Like they're not doing well. They're not doing well at all, guys. But someone I could see in here is Luke Fortner. It's not good right now, guys. It's not. It's kind of sad, to be honest with you. Not a good day to be a Titans fan. So looking at probably the best case scenario for you guys. Best case scenario is to trade out or get Jelani Woods. And I don't think you're going to pull the trigger on Jelani right now. You could, though. You're trying to build for the future. I'm sorry, Bengals fans. I don't know if I don't think we went a tight end earlier. We're going to go Jelani Woods out of Virginia to the Titans here. Number 91, you got the Buccaneers. And Buccaneers, I think actually just going BPA with Marcus Jones might be the best thing. He can make an instant impact as a returner as well. I think he's a freaking baller, man. I love him. And we've already went offensive line. Quarterback with Carson Strong would be a really good choice at this point. But based on the fact that it just doesn't sound like teams are very happy with him, it might be best to stay away. Marcus Jones is going to be my sneaky guy that I take right there. Really, really good player overall. 9 kick return touchdowns and punt return touchdowns. Ridiculous. Number 92 with Green Bay. I still think they could be going after a right tackle here. Nicholas Petit-Frere, going to be somebody who can play left or right tackle in case of injury with David Bakhtiari. I think they're going to value that versatility as well. Number 93 with the Raiders. Oh, man. I don't even know where to go with them. I think going a corner would be the best case scenario. And looking at it, obviously McDaniels comes from the Belichickian tree. So go to a place that not many people are willing to go. Fayetteville State, Josh Williams is going to be the guy that you select right there. 94, speaking of the Patriots. Patriots are on the board. And Bo Melton actually feels like a guy that the Patriots might like. Like it just feels like a Patriot. But they did address offensive line in round 1. Kind of crazy. But we've addressed edge. We've addressed the corner position as well. I think you go back to the offensive side. Tell me Bo Melton doesn't feel like a Patriot. He really does. Kyle Phillips does too, though. Like if I had to put my money on it, I would probably say Kyle Phillips, but I'm going to hope pick Bo Melton. I love Bo Melton. I think that he's undersized, sure, but he's one hell of a talent. 4-star athlete, just chose to go to Rutgers because of his parents that used to go there. Really good player. I love him overall. For the Bengals, I think maybe going after a tight end would be a good spot at this point. Oh man, I don't feel comfortable with those tight ends. I don't think they would either. It's not a good spot, actually. This is not a good spot for them at all. I would be quite uncomfortable to be in this position, but I'm actually gonna go Zach Carter. You can go Fedarian Mathis here too, though. The D tackle is pretty vacant. Zach Carter would be fun as an edge rusher, but Fedarian Mathis can be a really good impact D tackle. I think it was like 600 snaps to D tackle 3 on the roster. So that's a big position. And I think Fedarian Mathis fits it very well. Number 96, you have the Broncos back on the board. Don't know why edge is a primary need. You brought in, obviously, Randy Gregory, and there's nobody even worth it at this point. I think you might want to go back to the linebacker realm, man. You brought back your running backs. You could actually go Zach Carter here, though. That's the one guy I think would be perfectly fine. But did we go tight end? We have not even gone tight end. So I think going after Isaiah Likely would be fun, though. I think it would be. You have Albert Okwuegbunam as your tight end one. Gotta fix that up. So Isaiah Likely, great option for you. Linebackers should be this pick here, but I'm actually going to go Carson Strong. Again, now you're investing for the future, but this is a 3rd round pick. You're saying, hey, screw it. We're sitting here. We're happy. 98 with Washington. I think, honestly, a tight end would be pretty solid as well. Jake Ferguson definitely feels like someone who could be here. I know Gray, I think is his name, is on there, and he's actually not too shabby. Excuse me. But we'll actually get a run-stuffing linebacker. Darian Beavers continue to develop the defense as well. Be a smart move for the team overall. 99 with the Browns. This is going to be Zach Carter, developmental defensive lineman. Thomas Booker's not 108 on my board. He's actually a lot lower, but TDN's going to TDN. Still think that would be a great move for them. Also taking him away from the Ravens, which I would have definitely considered it at that point. We've gone wide receiver. We've done everything. I think corner would be a good spot to go. And Kalen Barnes running a 4.23 40 definitely warrants a team like the Ravens saying, hey, we're going to take a shot on you. We've done BPA this entire time. Now we're going to say we're taking the shot on the guy with the super high ceiling that, not many people are willing to take. Jets. Linebacker still a need. It is. And the problem is you look at the guys, they're all young. They're all developmental. I don't see that in this class. I don't. I also think that there are some good linebackers out there still. So to me, when I try to find someone who's young and developmental, none of these guys are standing out. I tell you right now, I think running backs need to be the pick here, but I think Dameon Pierce would actually be a really good RBBC back. Especially he's really good in the pass pro, great on 3rd down. And that's actually a great pick. Hold on. I just stumbled across it. That's a great pick. You have Michael Carter there and Dameon Pierce. He only took 100 carries or something this last season. He's built for an RBBC. And you have your elusive back. Now you have your power/blocking back. I like it. We stumbled across something. That was great. Number 102. I mean, we could also see Matt Ariza sometime in here. That's just cool, I guess. But I think this position, man, I'm not a huge fan of what's going on the board here, guys. You could see David Bell being a really good target. He's larger. He's a great football player. But I know a lot of people just don't like him. This is a good range for him, though. It is. It really is. And he fits a Shanahan type scheme. So you have your elusive guys. Now you have your slower guy who's really good in space as well. David Bell's a great football player. He just isn't the athlete that a lot of teams are looking for. And this team has their athletes already. Number 103, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think safety still is in that realm, but apparently Trent McDuffie might be playing that role. I'm actually going to go back to the corner realm, and I'm going to go Mikhail Wright out of Oregon. I still think he's very underrated. We can see Jalen Armour-Davis in here, but he's also had an injury history. So we'll see about that. Alontae Taylor, also worth mentioning. So for the Rams here, the question is, what do the Rams do? I think they go after the best day one impact. That's Jack Sanborn, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to be celebrating that as soon as it happens. If I see Jack Sanborn go, I'm calling my boy Caesar, which I will be with him actually on Saturday. So I don't know if I'm going to be live streaming there or not. I don't think I will, but he'll say, I'll have him say hi to you guys. Now, how about that? We'll do that for you. But number 105 for the Niners, we have gone edge. We've also gone after a center/tackle prospect. That's weird, right? But I think now would be a good time to go after another corner. Kobe Bryant, I think you could go after Jalen Armour-Davis, or Alontae Taylor would be good in this scheme too. But Kobe Bryant has shown the ability to play at a high level. So that is going to be the draft, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy tonight, and let's enjoy the rest of this draft. See you then. Peace.